Hi, hello and welcome. It's Pip Todman here from queenpipcards.com, and today I am showing you how to make this card. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm not sure if I've told you that before. It's in all my blurb, but I don't know if I've actually spoken about it. But one of the great things for us is that we get products at discounted prices and we are allowed to sell products to other people. And my last class that I had, we talked a lot about embossing and big shot work, and I thought I would show you how to make this card because it struck me as something a little bit different than the average card that I normally make. It's still simply stylish, as I like to call my cards, a simple stylish stamping. It's not too frou-frou or fancy, but it does have some texture to it and some different items that I would like to share. So let's get started. The first thing is it uses the new Tufted embossing folder, and this is a dynamic embossing folder. It's actually called a dynamic textured impressions embossing folder, but that's too much of a mouthful, so I just call it an embossing folder. But it is important to know the difference that it is textured and it's dynamic, sorry. And basically what that means is that it is double the thickness because it creates massive impressions in your cardstock. It's really, really thick. So it is the size, basically, of, as she turns behind her, one of the plates. In fact, it's slightly larger than one of the plates that you run through your Big Shot machine, which is why when you run this through your Big Shot machine, you actually only use one of the cutting plates. So I'm going to show you that in a bit. I'm not actually going to put the Big Shot here on the table because it tends to wobble my camera a bit too much and makes you feel a bit sick. But I will show you how we're going to use that and how we sandwich it up in a minute. I thought I'd also show you a few of the other things that we made with this. So here's one that you may have seen up on my blog. This uses the, now let me get the name of this right, Flourishing Frames Framelits, something like that, with the floral frames stamp set. It's a bundle, but it also has the Tufted on the back here, and it feels soft. It feels like a quilt cover. It really has that quilted feeling, and it's really difficult to explain that to you, but I can't help but stroke it. And I love a card that comes and gives you that textured feeling where you just can't resist touching it and going, oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, that's really nice. It's so different from what you can get in the shops. So that's one of them that I've made with it. I've also made this one. And this is really a case from the catalogue. I wonder if you can spot which one it is, but it's got a beautiful Tranquil Tide version of it this time. And even though it's not on our Whisper White cardstock, which is smooth, it still has that lovely feeling that you want to give it a cuddle. And this uses the Serene Garden stamp set and framelits with it. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that one. So I really, that's not one of my simple stamping ones. I mean, it is simple stamping, but it does take quite a while with all the colouring in and the cutting out and everything. So that's not necessarily one that I would do at class. And then this is one that my upline sent me. Isn't that lovely? This uses the Floral Frames dynamic embossing folder, and you'd normally see that looking like this. If you can see that. So it's just the solid flower shape with the leaves around it. But I love the fact that she's done it twice and then she's watercoloured in. And funnily enough, she knows that my new favourite colour is Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. So there's a little Highland Heather going on there, and some pink, and it's not perfectly coloured in, but it reminds me of a ceramic plate or a pot designed and coloured, and I love it. I like the fact that it's not quite 100% perfect, because that's not the look that she was going for here, and I just love that, how it's come out. I think it's beautiful. She's got the leaves and everything spot on, and it's just this wishy-washy look here in the flowers that I really like. So yes, so that's a different way of using your florals. And then here, one of my team created this, Karen, and this is using the layered leaves. And I love how she's matched it and layered it with the, I think this is a beautiful bouquet, but isn't it beautiful? And then this is another dynamic embossing folder. This is Subtles, which is so subtle that most of the time people can't see it, but I think it shows up better on this colour than it does on others. And then we've got the basket weave, which again on this side gives you like square spots, which is quite weird, but quite nice. But on this side gives you that brilliant texture of a basket. I love that. And then our old favourite, the hexagons or honeycomb for bees. Isn't that lovely? And then bringing up the rear today is a new one, and this is the corrugated dynamic impressions folder. Isn't that lovely? That's coming out soon. So yeah, so all of these are available from me if you want to grab them. So we've got the hexagon, the basket weave, subtles, layered leaves, floral frames, and coming back to tufted. So let me get these out of the way and we will make a slightly different version of this one because I just want to change it up a little bit. So you will need some simple supplies. You'll need half a sheet of the thick Whisper White cardstock. That's going to be our new card base. We're going with Melon Mambo again because I just love Melon Mambo, and I love the colours that these mix and match to. You're going to need a piece of the standard Whisper White, and this is cut 14.4. No, it's not. It's it was, and then I chopped it down. It's 8.5 by 10. So it's 10 down by 8.5. It just sits over your Melon Mambo and leaves a piece like that. Okay, and this is the piece you're going to pop through your embossing folder. Then you're going to need a piece for stamping, and then you're going to need these 3 pieces that are going to be these 3 pieces here. Okay, so we'll do something with those in a moment. First off though, I'm going to take my piece of Whisper White and just make sure that you have your quilt lined up pretty straight. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just a bit better than that is. So here's a tip that one of my team actually gave me. If you line it up with the line that's on, can you see this line? This one here. Okay, where it says stamping, let me move that out of the way. It says Stampin' Up and it's got this line along here. If you turn that over and line up with that line, you're actually going to get a straight impression, which I thought was a fabulous tip from my teamie Sandra. So that's how you're going to put it through the Big Shot. And this is the Big Shot platform. So you're going to take out your thin die adapter. You don't need that. So you're going to be left with your Big Shot platform, which actually does show a picture of an embossing folder. Okay, so normally you'd put one plate on, then your folder, then another plate, but for this you're actually going to go straight on with your tufted because it's so thick, and then you're going to pop your plate on top, and that's your sandwich. Right, I'm just going to run that through for a second. There we go. Okay, so that's what you then get. Isn't that beautiful? Again, you just really want to touch it. I like the background. I like the back side of it too, but I like this bit better. Okay, and then what I did was you're going to take your tailored tag punch, which is this one that's almost a diamond shape, but not quite. And I thought, oh, it actually matches the tufts in your quilt there. It actually almost looks like a mattress, but it also looks like a quilt. So I'm going to go with a quilt. And then you're going to pop out 3 of these. You can see I'm using my scraps. Always like to use my scraps. Make sure you get all your corners. There's a tendency with the tailored tag, see here, to just miss one of the corners. So just make sure that you've got all your corners. And then what you're going to do is you're going to line up, because that's going to go that way. You're going to line up your tailored tag pieces. Again, if you do them against the against the line or just a little bit further along, it doesn't matter. Just get them to a position where the two, as long as these 2 points are kind of in line and this is straight, that's what you want. Okay, you can come a little bit closer maybe. You just want to be creating that same kind of shape here. In fact, you need a little bit bigger than that. So you just need to have enough room, basically, because you're going to put another one on this side and another one on this side. So you need to have enough space to do that. All right. And then you're going to fold that up, and then you're going to run that through the embossing folder. You're going to run the embossing folder through the Big Shot. There we go. Right. So I'm going to do that. And even with the textured the dynamic embossing folders, sometimes it feels like you're not even getting any pressure through it, but believe me, you are. So when it comes out the other side, you can see, and look, aren't they cute? So cute. So then you're just basically going to line those up with the embossing. So can you see you're going to line up the lines, so you can see that that line matches in with the pattern at the back, and then you're going to work out where this one lines up to as well, which is going to be about there. See that? Okay, so that's what you're going to end up with. So now let's assemble. See, it doesn't take long at all. And I'm using, rather than the Coastal Cabana here, I'm using the Gorgeous Grape mini striped, because I just love Gorgeous Grape. So we're going to use a bit of that, and I will use my, where's my multi-purpose? Here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble this onto this. And I always leave attaching my base until last. I always tell my guys in class to either start top down, don't start bottom up, because otherwise what happens is you attach that to that and you haven't actually put the ribbon around it, which is what you need to do, and then you're fiddling and faddling around trying to get it on. So that goes on there. Okay, and you will need to apply a little bit of pressure because it's embossed. It won't want to adhere to the card quite so well as a normal straight piece of Whisper White. Okay, then I'm going to get my trusty snail, and as I said, this is not going on quite straight. Hang on. Oh, that's going to annoy me. There we go. That's a bit better. There we go. So we're going to get, this was, I said, 8.5 centimetres. So you can put this down here and know that at 8.5, that's where the ribbon needs to go, because that's going to go behind there. So then you're going to just tuck it under, just seal that join. Really, that's all you're doing. You're not doing anything else other than that. Just creating a little bit of interest and making sure the join can't be seen. There we go. Oh, pretty. Then what you're going to do is you're going to attach these. Now, yeah, I still think, yeah, could be done that way. Could be looking good that way. I'm going to reverse it, light to dark. Okay, so these I haven't put up on dimensionals. I've just left them straight flat to the card. And again, if you use multi-purpose glue, you can whiz it around until you get yourself into the right position. So you're just following these lines up and these across and these ones down, and you're going to do the same with this one. See how easy it is? But embellishing little, you know, like embossing little tiny pieces is probably not something that most people would do. I certainly haven't done it, not for a long while. You get out the habit of doing things, don't you? I find that. And then this piece I'm just going to glue on this side, and this is a flat plain piece, so I'm just going to pop that in there, just so it's got a nice even kind of border around it. If it goes too tight, it'll be too close. I think it won't look so good with the other one coming this side. And then I'm going to use my gluey scissors. Notice I have two pairs of snips. One that's my gluey snips and one that's my non-gluey snips. And that way I can just cut up here. There we go. Trim that off. Get rid of that, don't need that. Alright, so we're nearly there. Now we're going to do the final piece of oh, I've got a bit of glue on there. That's it, rub that off. We're going to do the final piece of stamping. Well, actually the only piece of stamping, but the final piece for here. And for this I've decided to change the words up. And we're going to go with the perennial birthday stamp set. And just a plain old happy birthday. Because that way, I think you could use this for a man or a woman. I don't think, I mean it's pink, so, you know, maybe not. But if you change the colourway up, I don't think necessarily the fact that it looks like a quilt generally says that it has to be a woman. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe, maybe not. Then get our tailored tag back out. Pop that in there. And I love the fact that so many stamp sets fit with this punch, because it's just great. I love it when a punch you can use for so many things. Okay, and then I am going to get some Stampin' Dimensionals. Oh, I've got to open a new packet. Sorry. Oh, sorry about that crackling noisy thing. Right, here we go. And now I'm popping this up, and this is going to go, whoops, oh no, I've lost my snail, hold on. Oh, maybe I didn't do enough on this side. I didn't leave myself enough ribbon, maybe. It's being a bit tight with it. Right, is that straight? Oh no, that's not straight. It needs to go a little bit further that way. There we go. Well, we're nearly done. So let's go with that. Right, so that's that. I'm going to just fold my thick Whisper White card in half. So this is a piece of A4 that's been cut in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half. It's been cut in half at 14.9 centimetres. And then when you fold that in half, then this will fit perfectly on there. And I'm going to glue that down before that comes back off again. I was a bit tight with my ribbon. I'm not normally tight with my ribbon, but obviously I'd had a bit of a moment there. Didn't put on enough of that. That will now hold that in place. Make sure your card opens the right way. Ask me why I do that every time. And then we can pop that down on there. There we go. That's pretty good. Pretty good. And then the happy birthday, as I say, just pop up on a few dimensionals. Definitely one in each corner of the punch. Now we've got ribbon going on here, but I think I can still put one over here, because this is going to be more on this side than this, which might upset some of my OCD people. But actually it needs to be in line with there. It doesn't have to be in line with that as long as it's straight. So I know it's going to upset you. I can tell. I think I did better on this one. I managed to, well no, it's not on that one either, see? So it's, and that looks okay. It's alright, we can live with it. Oh, get that off my fingers, there we go. Right, there we are then. And then you literally just pop that down so it lines up there nicely, holds that in place. There you go. Alright, so there you are. Tufted embossing folder, Tufted dynamic impression, textured impressions embossing folder. There you go. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Really quick, simply stylish card that you can make at home. with a few products. If you'd like to purchase any of the products, all the description and all the links and everything is all in the description below. So have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.